Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Innovation Alchemy podcast. My name is Adam Castle. I'm Director of Venture Services and Partnerships at WEtech Alliance, and I am your host. This is the podcast that discovers and investigates the magic, mastery, and mess of innovation. And today I'm joined by two teams that are going to dive into a program with us that we've been working on at WEtech for the last year and a half called WEsecure. Now, WEsecure is a pilot program dedicated to really helping companies navigate the complexities of cybersecurity. And I'm joined today by Peaches Cesario, who's the head of business development for Sterling Technological Products. We have the student team that worked with our companies this year, which is fantastic. And of course, we have Picsume here with us, one of our pilot partners on this program as well. So welcome all of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So about a year and a half ago, we noticed something with our companies at WEtech Alliance. They were getting stuck at a certain point. And that point was when they came to get to market, their early customers were saying, well, what are you doing to protect my data? What are you doing to protect your services? And what are you doing to protect your platforms?
Right.
And they didn't always have an answer. And so lo and behold, one of our board members, the director on our board, Neil, came to me and said, we have this idea for a program. We want to team up students at the University of Windsor with companies in our region to help increase their capacity and awareness for cybersecurity. And so we started down that path. We started investigating what that would look like. We kind of put together a really cool program that, Peaches, I want you to explain a little bit more about.
Sure.
But before we get there, I want to kind of discuss what that does. When a company isn't prepared to have those conversations with their customer, it kills trust, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the companies that we work with that are so early stage, if you don't have trust, you don't have that first customer relationship. So it kills things like dead in the water, which is kind of hard to do. Mm-hmm. The other thing it does is create a ton of debt, technical debt, as we call it, which is you move down the road, you've built a product, you think it's ready for market, and you have to go back and redo things and redo things and redo things. And why I'm excited to kind of talk to all of you today is because you have very different lenses. You have the students that worked on this project, you have the team at Sterling that's kind of put together the resources around this, and you have Picsume that I would say has been ahead of the game far and away from this program, even from the beginning. But also there's a really unique tie-in because you saw an opportunity. You didn't just participate in this program, you're now helping to power it, and I'm really excited to have that conversation as well. Awesome. So why don't we start, Peaches?
Yes.
For those people out there in our audience that don't know what WEsecure is, give us a quick overview.
Okay, great. WEsecure is really a program that will allow not just startups, but it actually empowers students to get the necessary cybersecurity experience that they need in order to become a cybersecurity professional. Because if you don't know, students at this point, they have a really hard time getting into cybersecurity because that 0 to 3 year gap, no one's really hiring a student that you may have certifications and you're applying to these jobs and you're not getting them because you don't have that experience. You're not in that 3+ when it comes to the experience level. So what WEsecure has done is, one, it's worked with, Dr. Ziad Kabti. He has been such a champion of ours, and he's also helping to make this possible, and we're so grateful for that because of the simple fact that along with WEtech, the two of you saw the vision. And one, we help to get the students the experience that they need by working in what we call a security operations center. And that allows them to get real life experience on how to monitor and to detect, to analyze data. And when we're talking data, it's not the emails that you're writing, but it's more logs. So your privacy is always, private. But it allows us to make sure that your company, your systems, your people, and your clients are safe. And then from the startup side, because cybersecurity has always been associated with enterprise, startups don't have that kind of funding. You don't decide to start a company and all of a sudden have, all kinds of money coming out of pocket, right? And so we want to make sure that startups have access to the same kind of enterprise service that, the large companies have, but at a very affordable cost. But then we're also training them, doing so much more than just giving them the tools. We're actually training them, we're giving them the tools, we're educating the staff, and we're making sure that they understand that as they're building out their products, that they have to think about it with cybersecurity first in mind. Especially if you're a technical company like Picsume, right? You want to make sure that, and that's one of the great things about, your team is that they've thought of these things. So it was really exciting for our students and for us as well to work with you guys because you're coming with that lens. So it really helped the students get a deeper exposure into what it really takes to be a cybersecurity professional. And the feedback that you've given us in order to shape the program has been priceless. But for other startups that may not have that kind of forward thinking as Picsume does, we really want them to understand that, when you're just writing code, you have to learn how to harden those codes. You have to learn how to secure those codes, especially if you're working with AI. Mm-hmm. What are those things? So a lot of what we're doing is really empowering these startups to also have them look forward. Because also when you're looking for investment, what are some of the things that investors are looking for? So, we have risk assessments, but we also have a cyber-ready investor risk assessment that we go over because ultimately your goal as a startup is to get funding somehow.
Absolutely.
And you want to work proactively to make sure that you have a proper cybersecurity posture that you can then present to your investors and say, look, on top of everything that we've done, we're also looking at security and this is how we're doing it.
That's awesome. So it really creates this bundle, right?
Yes.
There's the active part, the Security Operations Center, the SOC 2 that you guys were manning, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But there's also all of this awareness training as well as kind of preparedness. So
Absolutely.
What happens? How do you mitigate the types of damage that can be done if there is a breach? And that's
Yes.
kind of really important as well.
Yes.
So what is it like working in a SOC 2?
So just to make it clear, there is 3 levels of the SOC. There is SOC 1, SOC 2, and SOC 3. So SOC 1 is the monitoring. We're looking at the dashboards and we're looking into data flow. And if there is anything that's malicious happening to the clients, that's when we look at it. And if there is something, then we move it to the SOC 2 level. The level SOC 2 is going to be the actual investigation. If something is malicious happening, going on, we're looking into it in deeper lenses and we're seeing where did this come from? Is it from an email? Is it like we're looking for evidence that this is actually malicious?
Okay.
And if it's necessary to take it into at the danger level and actually do pen testing on it, that when it comes to SOC 3. And the SOC 3, they take it into more advanced level. However, right now we're not so into the SOC 3 because we are not looking for a lot of dangerous and malicious factors in the monitorings yet. But we do have it still available. It's just not that so active.
Right.
However, the SOC 1 and SOC 2 is the more active teams that are working currently. However, if you want it, mainly SOC 1. SOC 2 comes right after when we receive something. It's amazing, to be honest. It's giving us a lot of experience applying the knowledge, doing the certifications and doing the workshop that we have done with Peaches and Neil. It was such an amazing. So like when we apply it here, we actually have to work our brains and see we have to look from more of an investigation lens.
Yeah.
And also we look at I love a sentence that Peaches said, you have to be acting or thinking like a malicious actor in order for you to catch if there is an actual attack happening. You have to be a person, you have to be bad in order for you to be good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is where it's happening. It's giving us the actual work like hands-on experience. We're applying all of the knowledge that we learned. It's a bit complicated, but that's the main idea of it.
That's awesome. I mean, as students, you guys learn the theory, right? Like extensively.
Yes.
Jack, we were talking before we started this, and just how much work it is to get into this profession.
Yes.
What is that jump like going from theory to real world cyber detectives?
Well, I'd say without guidance, pretty rough. But
Yeah.
luckily for us, we have people like Peaches and Neil to guide us. A lot of what I would say has been learnt with WeSecure is not only operational. So we are behind the screen, we're monitoring, we're making sure everything's all good. But at the end of the day, who is it we're communicating to?
Yep.
It's you, it's the client, it's the customers. That sort of jump in how we apply our knowledge is vastly different than any experience you get from school.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I'd say, the most useful skill gained from WeSecure for me personally, as I've made a big improvement in my communication abilities with clients, understanding their needs. They don't teach that in school.
Yeah.
At least they can't effectively.
Yeah. It's something that has to be exercised, right?
It's all about reps.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
quote from David from Shelta, if he ever listens
Yeah.
to this. He's a big inspiration. That's another thing is I find that on the mental level, more on the mindset level, being surrounded by all these entrepreneurial minds, it gives a lot of hope and inspiration, like aspirations for the
Yeah.
future. So when I started with WeSecure and/or Sterling, I had trouble with direction in cybersecurity. It's not a great environment right now. It's difficult. Yet all these people trying their hardest, finding a way, one way or another, like Picsume, and they're doing incredible. It helps students really envision and create new ideas and strive.
That's amazing. You know, and the heart of this initially was to help startups. But I think what we found is that the students really are the fuel. They're the power. And by providing you this experience, we know that our region's going to be better off in the future
Absolutely.
because there's that opportunity provided to you.
Yeah, I said this previously, but I think Windsor as a whole, I wouldn't say even only University of Windsor, they're missing out on the market even. You have all this talent, this mass exodus where they go to these other cities, but
Yeah.
there are businesses here. There are startups that could use this. There are enterprises. There's a whole economy here that could benefit from the students and their improvement. So why not, put the trust and the time in to build it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think to your point, I think there's a lot of momentum that we're seeing right now being gained and traction that's out there. And it's just a very exciting, I've been in this space for a decade and it's never been more of an exciting time to be here and to kind of witness the types of companies that are going up here. So with that, I kind of want to pivot into Picsume. Candice, tell us a little bit about who Picsume is first. Set the stage for us.
Yeah, so Picsume, we're first off a group of people on the other side, on the employer side, who were frustrated over a decade of different businesses and thought hiring needs to be simpler. There needs to be a better way to connect candidates and employers, regardless, what the industry is. And so Picsume was created with that thought in mind. Let's streamline the communication, create better opportunities to connect and bridge the gaps between job seekers, especially those entering the workforce, with that under 3-year experience, with those employers, those right opportunities. Let's make sure that we can connect that so that we can build a stronger future workforce, 100%. And that starts with the elimination of the traditional resume, which we'll talk a little bit about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with that idea in mind and starting this, I know the founder team had a lot of experience in service industry, a lot of experience in hourly paid workers, and a lot of experience in having challenges with getting really reliable, good quality, highly skilled people into those roles and how to manage them. And so what you've built is really remarkable, and you've been getting some validation around how well you've hit the nail on the head with that solution. $1 million raised to date, just in private funds, another $1 million plus in government grants and opportunities that you've been able to leverage. Like, you are on a rocket ship right now.
Thank you.
How did you find opportunities within WeSecure to apply that Picsume lens to make this program stronger?
Yeah, I mean, right off the hop, the first thing we saw was that synergy. As Peaches spoke to, we're trying to create opportunity for those that no one's looking to hire, that under 3 years, those entering the workforce. And so for us, it was, well, we see this great opportunity to help these students, and again, bridging that gap, providing them an opportunity to not just list credentials on a piece of paper, but to showcase what they gained. What did they build for themselves through the WeSecure program? The skills they've learned, the projects that they've executed, they can showcase that work. And so for us, this was just a perfect fit to empower the students of this program with opportunity to truly enter the workforce.
That's awesome. So with this podcast, we're not just talking about the experience that Picsume has had, we're actually kind of celebrating a milestone. So WeSecure is moving out of the pilot phase. We've worked with 2 of our local companies on this, our highest growth startups, including Picsume,
right.
And we've seen a tremendous response. Not only did they build that trust that we really set out to do, but we're providing really great opportunities for students. But Picsume today gets the opportunity to kind of announce their inclusion into this program, not just as a participant, but now as someone that's powering it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, yeah, that opportunity, that's what we saw. We thought, how can we best support WeSecure, the students of the program? And that was it. It's powering the opportunity to bring the students, show them, and we'll be doing the workshops and helping so that the students know how important it is to build. Jack, you spoke to that communication and how we can speak to the employers, and Picsume makes it that much easier. So we look forward to helping students to understand what it means to not just have the skill sets, but how to showcase them, showcase the hard and soft skills that go along with it, everything you've built in the program, so that we can start to also break down this barrier of, when you're fresh out of school, you actually don't know how to do the job. What we want to do is bridge that gap between learning and opportunity, because many students come out of programs and they're well educated, they have the experience through the program, and their biggest struggle is communicating that, is standing out and showcasing then to the employer, hey, I don't just have the knowledge base, I didn't just go to school for this, I can actually do the work. I can hit the ground running. So we're really excited to help kind of bring that to fruition and see that gap bridged a bit. Yeah.
That's so great. And that's I think true Picsume style. You guys see opportunity and you just kind of lean into it and run with it, which is so cool to see. And I think one of the reasons why you've found a lot of success. Tell me, how much of that success has been dependent on your ability to build strong trust with those companies that you're working with as customers? And beyond that, how has cybersecurity really played a role into that for you guys?
Oh, well, yeah, I think it's a big part, right? Companies want to work with companies that they trust. And so I think a lot of that too was starting and working on the candidate side, building a product that we knew that not only would work for the employers, but that worked for the students as they enter the workforce. And so it's working with folks like you guys and just staying rooted here in our community as well, because I think that's a big part of it. We don't all have to get up and go. Really helps show that we're not doing that, right? Yeah. We're not just hitting the ground, or we're not just a fly-by-night. This is not just about Picsume per se. This change needs to come, right? Something that we're doing isn't working on both sides, for the employers and for the job seekers, and we're seeing that in unemployment rates, right? So, so change needs to come, and so we're very proud to be kind of spearheading that action of, again, getting away from the traditional paper resume and getting into structured data, live dynamic profiles that now grow with candidates and grow with the employer as well. In the new year, employers over 25 are going to have to start holding resumes for 3 years. And the second it's left, it's now outdated, right? With a live dynamic work profile, candidates have the opportunity to continue to grow within that employer's database. So it's really important. And of course, for us, launching one of the first really non-biased matching algorithms in our country, security is such a big part of that. Personal identifiable information, watch what you're putting out there, and Picsume helps us do that, right? In short, we keep that personal identifiable information completely separate from where our AI tool is running out of. So again, these are just some of those small ways that security has helped. There's a ton of other, I mean, if I had Andrea and Nick in the room, we could get into it a little deeper, but for sure, those are just some of those small factors at how security plays a role with Picsume.
That's amazing. And so Peaches, you've seen this on both sides now, from the industry side of things in your work with Sterling to working with Picsume and our startup teams to working directly with the students. What have you noticed as kind of the biggest impact out of this program over a 6-month period of running it with these companies?
Absolutely. I think one is to let them know that they need to build an incident response plan. It's important for companies to understand where they are currently in their journey. And then, and unfortunately, I really hate to say this, but this is the reality that we're in. It's not if you get it, it's when you get a breach, right? Because even in our personal lives, there's attempts all the time that are happening with emails that are coming in. So for companies these days, you have to think about not if, but when. And when that happens, because we know exactly what we need to do, then we can act accordingly. Everybody within the company will know what their roles are. And then from there, we can act. And we know who to contact. We know we know how many times we need to do a backup, where the backups are coming from. If one backup is we can't get to it or it's been compromised, we have additional backups where we can go to. So that building out that incident response plan is really important because it gives you a current, what to do, and then at the end, once you've gotten over the breach, how you can go back and make things better. And I think that that's one of the things that Andrea, I know, has been working really hard on. And, she's really realizing as well that, building out that incident response plan doesn't just require the stakeholders. You really have to go into every single department that you have, and you're gathering information and you're collaborating with everybody. And as a result of that collaboration within the company, everyone now is starting to come up with, okay, this is how I impact our security or our digital health. So now that I understand this, I'm going to be more conscious of it. And I think that's the most important thing, is to bring things to the forefront, because cybersecurity, we always think it's never going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Right? But it's actually already happening to us. If we get an email that says you have a package delivery or a text message and you know that you don't have anything coming, you know that these people are already trying to, attempt to make you a victim. So I think that one of those things, that incident response plan is something that we, talk to about with every company that we work with. And then also going through the risk assessment questions. So really, again, asking them questions that they may not have thought, oh, I really need to think about that. It allows them to really think about it and process the information and not just come up with an answer that they think we want to hear.
Right.
Because in the end, this is about making sure that you know what your policies are and how you can act or how you need to act and who you need to engage with in the event something is suspicious. Yep. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now staff knows, if I see this email, I have to report it to my IT department.
Right.
Because that's one of the things is we're not IT. So we work with your IT department to make sure that everybody understands what everyone's role is.
Yep.
With the collaboration of our team with the IT departments, that also empowers the IT department because then they understand the severity of what they're doing as well and how it can affect in the long run.
Kind of working like the conductor of this orchestra of cybersecurity and management of services.
Yep.
Really cool. So, okay, let's talk to some of the artists, the musicians that are in this process. You've both now gone through this program. You've participated with 2 different companies, and you've got the reps in.
Yes,
You're also now on the Picsume platform with your own Picsume, so we've ditched the resume. We're never going to use them again. What's your experience been in being able to track kind of the skills that you've gained through a platform like Picsume?
Well, I'd like to say it's almost a poetic synergy that a program designed to give entry-level students the 0-3 years and, market their skills and improve them, partners with a company like Picsume, whose entire goal is to also help the local and the students do the exact same thing. It's almost like it's meant to be.
I wish I had thought of it when I made the connection. I was just really trying to make sure that you guys had good cybersecurity practices. But yeah, I can't take credit for it. It's all Picsume and seeing the opportunity. But yeah.
It's really nice, honestly, because it's hard to really justify as a student your skills and how you learn them, and getting the opportunity to do it in a live manner, to not present yourself as a piece of paper, but as a person.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity it's a social sport, as Peaches likes to say. So when you see a piece of paper, what are you really considering? It's nothing. I have really nothing more else to say. It's just makes sense.
That's pretty good. Yama, what's your experience been as an official Picsume user now?
I love to think of it this way. It's really good opportunity to use the platform generally instead of using the resume, because it's not just me looking at my resume and handing it over to someone to read over it and tell me, oh, this is not good, oh, this is good. But then if I take it to another person, it's telling me the opposite things, and I don't know which one to follow, or which resume should I actually build, and which one should I give to my to my employer. So the good thing is that I can go into the platform, I see what companies are actually looking for, and it helps me build my resume according to the company itself. And I can also compare myself to other people who have already been employed by this company, what their resumes looked like, what their profile looks like. So it's giving me more than just an opportunity to apply. It's giving me the opportunity to learn how to be a good employee, or how to be a good person, how to build my resume correctly. So this is they're amazing, and the job that they're doing is great, and working with them to secure people's information have been also a huge learning curve for not just me. I'm pretty sure it's for Jack as well, because we don't look at it from only what we have learned or what we know that should be secured, but looking at it from a professional perspective, how they're actually advancing their technology to protect people. And we're just giving them the extra knowledge that they're building it for. So it's collaborating, and then they have their own problem. They're like, hey, we have this kind of problem, how to solve it. And then we come together, we sit down, and we actually bring a solution to place. So it's been a great learning curve, to be honest. And I'm more than grateful for working with them, and also getting to, for hopefully in the future, when I use the platform more, to actually get trained and get hopefully a job in the future because of that.
So glad to hear it. We talk a lot with startups about iteration and how important that is from a product development perspective. We've talked about it through this program. Like every time we have an engagement, Peaches, you and I and Neil kind of sit down and we chat about, okay, how do we make this stronger? How do we make it better for the students? How do we make it easier for the companies to onboard? But then there's this like not so great kept secret in the world of applying and hiring, which is like you tailor your resume to each and every employer that you go to. But it's exhausting. And we're in a world right now, at least in Canada, where there's about 2% unemployment amongst our tech workers. And so there's high competition and a lot of people and a lot of talented people that are in this marketplace. So how do you stand out, and how do you really continue to refine that offering? And what I love is you're going through this program and you're starting to learn exactly which area of cybersecurity you really like, which means you can identify employers that you want to work for, which means that you're going to be tailoring your work profile to exactly what those employers are looking for. So it gives you this really strong approach to hopefully getting into the workforce in the very near future. I don't know, you're in your 10th quarter, or what were we calling it earlier?
Oh yeah, for those who didn't hear, or if this isn't edited out, earlier I said I'm 2/10 the way into my progress.
So we're breaking it down in iterations, even based on that. But this idea that you can continue to kind of build it up and really refine it as you go through that process. Just such a cool thing to be able to be a part of. So,
honestly, I'd like to also add within the structure of WeSecure. So we spoke about the SOC. One thing I personally really appreciate is the way it's structured is that you can have a chance to grasp every part of cybersecurity you'd like. Now we have the SOC level 1 that focuses on analyzing logs, as Imama put much nicer than this. Analyzing logs, seeing flagged events and trying to kind of, like a detective, find anything suspicious, any behavior suspicious. But then you go to the next level and it touches an entirely different part of cybersecurity. You get into forensics, evidence gathering, and then the next one, so on, so forth. And all these different roles, they come together to really help you find what your niche is and what you'd like to explore. Now, from a client's perspective, you get the full package, but from a student's perspective, you also get the full package.
Yeah, what you're exposed to
helps
is
you
so
grow.
Broad. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, we look forward to seeing you both progress through your careers and look forward to hearing back from you once you've landed and graduated. And I know there's some time before that, but we want to keep tabs on you, and we'll probably keep tabs. Send me your Picsume if you want. We'll keep a tab on that. So before we kind of wrap up, I want to do a bit of a rapid fire here, which is we've got two incredible depths of information or knowledge around this table. We have cybersecurity, but we also have employment and how do you move into the workforce as a young student? And so I want to get both kind of angles from there. So Peaches, I'll start with you on if you have one piece of advice today to the people listening on how to do better at cybersecurity, what would that be?
Can I break it down into two answers?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so for the student side, I would say get certified with purpose. Meaning, and these guys have heard me say it all the time, don't collect certifications like Pokemon.
Yep.
Right? Get your certification and then find a way to apply it. Because, employers these days, it's not so much how many certifications you have, it's how you've applied that certification into real life experience. So if it means volunteering, if it means joining us here at WeSecure, if it means going out and volunteering your services to companies to say, let me help you, right? Or interning, co-op. Don't just go through 20 certifications of cybersecurity in one weekend and hope that that's going to get you a job.
Yeah.
And then on the employer side, train your employees on what cybersecurity really is. Because it's not about the devices that we're holding. It's not about the machine that's in front of you. It's really about people, and it's about the trust. And if we can understand that that is the core of cybersecurity, then I think that people will be more open to really looking deeper into what it means for their business, for their employees, and for the clients.
That's awesome. Candace.
Yeah.
You're an expert at helping people get jobs and onboard to this amazing platform. What are you seeing that really helps move the needle for these employees that you're onboarding?
Peach's answer one covered so much of that. It's not just about what you're learning. It's about how you can execute that. And again, the live dynamic profile gives you that opportunity to show it, not just write the information down, not just have the certification there, which then can, of course, be filtered and found so much easier by the employer. But how does that work? And so, again, the whole point is let's turn the learning into the opportunity. Let's not just showcase what we know, but let's showcase that we can get the job done. So it's so important to take what you've learned and then create some real skill, some experience out of that. So again, through programs like WeSecure, you can get that. But co-op, volunteer your time. It's not enough to get the certifications and the education on it and list it. What are you doing to show that you are truly ready to hit the ground running? And for those that, you're looking at jobs that are saying they want the 3+ and you don't have it, I always suggest, remember, persistence is key.
Yeah.
And so follow up with those employers. Let them know, I understand you're looking for someone with experience. And this might not always work for everyone based on your life and what you've got on your plate, but offer the opportunity to show that you can get the job done. If you know you can. Give them that, listen, I'd love to come work for you for the next month and show you what I'm capable of. Ask them if there's a project that you could submit, something that you could do special for them that won't charge them a thing, to show them that you are the right person for the role. Let's try to get away. I get why employers want the experience. But if you've truly done the work, you are passionate about what you're doing, and you're doing that work to show that, okay, it's not just that education, I've got the hard skill, I'm ready to hit the ground running. Stand up and show it to them, right? I think that's the best way to prove that you are right for the role. And remember, your live dynamic work profile is a great way to start showcasing that.
So, Jack, Yamama, you are future foremost experts in cybersecurity. What do you want more businesses to know about this space, and how can they do a better job at protecting themselves?
For me, I look at it this way. For companies to look at students, because again, as Peaches mentioned, there is the huge gap of 0 to 3. So to look at us more than just a certification, or to look at us more than just a degree that we have graduated with, but they can actually have some type of way of testing our knowledge and looking at us how we actually execute and apply our knowledge into the workspace. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of us, the students, they might have had like couple of certifications and they can do more than that. They have learned more than that because they had such an amazing experience, or they probably met mentors who taught them how to do the job perfectly well.
For sure.
So it would be probably better to not just get an interview and like judge based on a couple of questions, but have probably more of an more than one interview, have a set of skills or a set of exams, or like something that challenges the students and shows who they actually are. It would also be great if they would look more into the cybersecurity, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the companies, they kind of disregard the cybersecurity side and they look at other computer science fields, like for example software engineering or AI or other things, or developments, but they don't look at us because we're still in the back show. So we're not in the front row. They don't look at us seriously. So we're still there, and hopefully companies, when they start seeing the value of cybersecurity, it's gonna become and grow bigger. So that's why it's also important. I'm pretty sure the big companies do have that. They look at that, but the startup mode is still going. So that's why I would be very happy to see the startups looking at us more and exploring us more. And it's pretty good opportunity for them to secure themselves. If they have at least one student that is specialized in cybersecurity, it can secure them a long way of the curve of getting hacked, et cetera, and that could help them a lot in the future as well. So it's pretty much very important to look at.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. So I agree with everything Imama said, but I also understand from a company's perspective, it can be hard to find the right candidates.
Yeah.
Now, platforms like Picsume help greatly. I'd also like a lot of companies to delve a bit further into the communities.
Yep.
If you have trouble grasping the knowledge and understanding a could-be employee would have, find them in their native environment, in the community, their projects, where are they spending their time. You'll find in Windsor, there's a massive community, and you don't have to look hard to find incredibly talented people. They are there.
Yeah.
It's just try and look a little further than posting on
a job board.
I almost threw shade at some branded job boards.
We can keep it generic.
In good taste, the Kirkland brand job boards. Take an active role in your hiring process. Go over what Picsume has, and maybe go to some local events. Maybe you find the right, your Cinderella.
Go to universities. Go to for example, like we have the downtown campus. They could easily send an email to one of the people who are working there, and they can ask if they could get invited, because we have a lot of showcasing of talents. So they could actually attend one of these. They could send employees. Actually, I'm pretty sure one of the companies did that, and that's how we met one of them. They actually sent someone to go and look into the cybersecurity field, and they were interested, but they didn't know how to get into it. And so they're like, go there and see. And I think one of the students got hired because of that. So would that be more wouldn't that be like more wonderful if more companies would do that, and they would actually go where and learn more, explore this field, send people to actually look at what people are doing, and you can select by looking at them and what they're doing in there. It would be great.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that call to action for involvement. I think that's really important. And I think too, from our perspective where we sit when we're working with startups, it's this idea that cybersecurity is not a cost, it's an investment. And it's an
Absolutely.
important one. It's foundational, and it's what everything is going to be built on top of in this new world of data and connectivity and AI. So I want to thank all four of you for participating in
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you so much for
having
being
us.
students in this program. Thank you so much for giving mentorship and providing this incredible Picsume platform that's now powering this program.
Absolutely.
And peaches to you and the team at Sterling. Thank you so much for your participation, as well as Dr. Kopti, who's not here, but sees this vision just as much as we do. We look forward to seeing what's next for this program in the coming year. We're very excited to bring it to this region. And until next time, this is Innovation Alchemy. I'm Adam Castle.